Have you ever heard about the word samadhi and why it is referred to as the last step or the ultimate step in the path of Ashtanga Yoga? The step where the idea of one's personality disappears, where the individual consciousness merges with the absolute. But what if I told you that there exists a state which is beyond this, the state about which Swami Vivekananda expressed his experience as a free physical body and mind detached from all the exterior activities, melting his inner self and providing an essence of infinite knowledge? Yes, I'm talking about nirvikalp samadhi. Absolutely, most of you are hearing this term for the very first time. So guys, let me tell you that nirvikalp samadhi is a second level of achieving the highest level of samadhi. Actually, the samadhis are primarily categorized as savikalp samadhi, nirvikalp samadhi, and dharmamekh samadhi. First is savikalp samadhi, transient of mental activity or excess concentration. You can see it as the state where the yogi's consciousness temporarily dissolves into Brahman or the ultimate. Next to this state is nirvikalp samadhi, a much higher state of awareness where only consciousness remains. And the state more advanced to this is dharmamekh samadhi. You can just imagine the intensity of the state with the fact that in it even the will to know and embrace God disappears. But in this video we will only discuss about nirvikalp samadhi, its various types, the practical way to reach this state of higher consciousness, and how it feels to be in this state according to the experiences of advanced yogis. So, before getting into the concept of nirvikalp samadhi, we need to get some basic understanding of the fact that what samadhi is, according to spiritually advanced rishis and sages. As Ramana Maharishi states, samadhi is a state of spiritual consciousness, an unbroken experience of existence consciousness. This one pointed concentration can be roughly described with words like joy, peace, and bliss. This is by no means an ideal state of a dead, as some people far from spiritually think. This is the experience of reality as it is, in complete unity and integrity. In samadhi, the boundaries between the observer and the observed disappear, leading to a sense of oneness. The concept of Advait, the state where the observer and the matter becomes one. It's hard to describe this state, and one needs to experience it to understand it. When a person comes out of a samadhi, they have a deeper understanding of reality than they did before. Some people view sustained joy, Anand, as the ultimate state of samadhi, but it's not a separate stage from nirvikalp samadhi. Instead, it's a part of it. Now, we have some sort of basic understanding about samadhi. So, let us discuss about nirvikalp samadhi, also known as asampragyat samadhi. From the word itself, we can understand that there is an end to the movement of thoughts. Instead of vikalp comes nirvikalp, characterized by a complete absence of thoughts, reflections in the lab of Shunya, the divine, in nothingness and complete union with the Absolute. When inner and outer thoughts are stopped, this is the state of delight, which in yoga is called Anand. Nirvikalp Samadhi is a state of complete concentration and mindfulness, where there are no more thoughts or distractions. It is the highest state of Samadhi according to advanced spiritual saints and yogis. In this state, one experiences a complete union with the Absolute, and there is a complete absence of reflections. This state is characterized by a feeling of delight, which is different from any joy experienced in earthly life. This new type of spiritual ecstasy cannot be described in words. The other stages of Samadhi prepare one for enlightenment and allow for immersion in bliss, but they do not completely break the subjective and objective connection. Nirvikalp Samadhi is different, as all processes of understanding stop and the temporal, causal, and spatial structures cease to exist. The unification of the subject and the cosmic consciousness takes place, allowing one to see the true nature of the universe far away from the subtle objects. In this state, the practitioner ultimately merges with the Absolute, and their consciousness becomes one with the Supreme. The Absolute and the yogi become one. This is the state when a person discovers the Atman in themselves. They not only understand but also realize and manifest the Atman while still in the subtle body. Getting deeper into the concept of this, there are basically two types of Nirvikalp Samadhi. First is Nirvitark Samadhi. It is a state of self-realization where a person finds God through knowledge, which is called the jnana. In this state, the person sees the whole world within themselves as a movement of thoughts and a way of being of their existence. In Nirvitark Samadhi, a person sees themselves in all beings and all beings in themselves. And this is the highest state of self-realization achieved by a great spiritual leaders like Krishna, Dattatreya, Sri Shankara and Jananadeva. The other one is Nirvichar Samadhi. It is the second type of Nirvikalp Samadhi, where the world dissolves and the Jnana Yogi rests in pure Brahman without any attributes. Shuddh Nirgun Brahman. This is like the parable of the roe and the serpent, Rajju Sarp Nyay, where one sees the world as it truly is. In simple terms, this means that when the yogi is fully focused and concentrated, they can see the world and themselves as they truly are, without any illusions or distractions. So now the question arises that how it feels to be in the state, or what one can experience in the state of Nirvikalp Samadhi. So according to Swami Sivanand, in this state, the mind loses its own consciousness and becomes one with the object of meditation, Tat Chit. It's like a toy made of salt melting in water, and similarly, the mind melts in pure Brahman during nirvikalp samadhi. This means that yogi becomes completely absorbed in their meditation, and their mind merges with the ultimate reality of the universe, which is Brahman. It's like losing oneself in a deep ocean of pure consciousness. According to Sri Ramana, there are two types of nirvikalp samadhi. In the first type, called Keval Nirvikalp Samadhi, the mind is still active but merged in light. It's like a bucket with a rope that can be pulled out of a well again. In the second type, called Sahaj Nirvikalp Samadhi, the mind is completely merged into the self, like a river that has flowed into the ocean and lost its identity. Once the river merges into the ocean, it can never be redirected elsewhere. Swami Muktanand experienced this divine state as the vision of a blue pearl at the sixth stage of Nirvikalp Samadhi, which he explains as purifying even that exceeds the force of realization itself, which symbolized the ultimate reality of the universe. This experience was so profound that it purified him in a way that was more important than any other realization he ever had before. The state of Nirvikalp Samadhi itself can be even less expressed through verbal communication. It's an experience that is difficult to describe and can only be understood through personal experience. When someone is in this state, their mind becomes crystal clear and free from external distractions. It's a state of pure awareness where the boundaries between the observer and the observed disappear. This state is attainable only by those who have dedicated themselves to the spiritual practices. During Nirvikalp Samadhi, a person's thoughts from the outside world vanish and they experience a boundless feeling of peace and joy. This state can last for hours or even days. However, returning to the physical world can be a challenge for that person, as they may forget who they are and find it difficult to perform everyday tasks. With continued practice, coming down from Nirvikalp Samadhi and returning to normal functioning becomes more manageable. In the past, some spiritual masters attained Nirvikalp Samadhi and were unable to return to the world. They remained in this state, unable to function in the society. However, for those who are meant to work on earth, divine intervention allows them to return to normal functioning. Overall, it is a state of pure awareness and consciousness that is attainable through dedicated spiritual practice. It's a state that can bring profound peace and joy, but it's also a state that requires careful attention and preparation before attempting to attain it. So, now all of you have this one question popping in your minds, that how someone with this efforts, determination in his mind and purity in his heart can achieve this blissful state of divine consciousness. So, let me tell you that through meditation exercises based on tried and tested techniques of various God realized sages of the past. To simplify it, I will give you step-by-step process which will help you as a beginner on your spiritual path. So, first of all, find a quiet place to sit in the lotus position, that is Padmasana, and focus on one form of energy. This could be air, fire, Krishna, Shiva Shakti, the sun, the moon, or a spiritual guru. This practice is called dharana. Now continue this practice for hours or even days. As you focus on the chosen form of energy, you will begin to enter into a deeper state of meditation called dhyan. This is where you will begin to experience the nameless and formless Brahman, the one living truth. Another form of meditation you can try is without attributes, nirgun. Focus on an infinite, sublime glow, Anand, that is behind all the appearances and shines as brightly as the shine of millions of suns. You can also try meditating on the limitless sky. This is a form of meditation without forms, nirakar. With all of these meditation methods, your entire consciousness will begin to let go of specific thoughts and forms and slowly sink into a sea of peace. You will begin to free yourself from the various forms of content in your mind and become more subtle. These meditation techniques have been passed down from various God realized sages of the past and have been tried and tested over time. By practicing them regularly, you can begin to experience deeper states of consciousness and connect with the ultimate truth. But remember to be patient with yourself and allow yourself to sink into the peace that comes with these practices. So guys, if you have any doubt or questions in your mind, comment down below and share this video to spread the knowledge and wisdom of a golden past which unfortunately has been lost over the time.